Anarchism and Socialism by Georgi Valentinovich Plekhanov. Introduction by the narrator. Georgi Valentinovich Plekhanov is one of the most influential figures in the development of Marxist theory, but an obscure one, at least in the West. Beginning his political life as a populist, in a time and place where the word had a concrete meaning other than the modern, democratically elected opponent of neoliberalism, he was introduced to Marxism while in exile for his activism and was a key figure in introducing it to Russia in turn. He wrote a vast bibliography of political theory, co-founded the Russian Social Democrats alongside Lenin and other important figures of the Russian revolutions, broke with the Bolsheviks over substantive matters of theory and praxis, sided with the so-called social patriots during the Great War, and ended his life once again in exile as an opponent of the October Revolution. Yet, his influence on Russian Marxism was such that the Soviets extensively reprinted his works and named two major universities after him, while the American scholar of Russian history, Samuel H. Barron, titled his first book Plekhanov, the Father of Russian Marxism. I hope that makes the case for why the works of G.V. Plekhanov are worth our precious time even today. But why this book? Surely Plekhanov did more substantial work than dunking on anarchists. My first intention was to narrate the development of the monist view of history, arguably his most famous and important work. As an aside, I want to note the amusing story of its title, which Plekhanov supposedly made as dull-sounding as possible in order to trick the Tsar censors into approving the work without reading it, a gambit that presumably worked. Sadly, the first English translation I've found dates from 1947, which means its copyright has not yet expired. While I could gamble that no one would care that I narrated and published the book without permission, and the text is openly available online, in the usual places for such works, YouTube's rules on such matters are so draconian that being caught with copyrighted material might mean the end of my little channel, such as it is. So here we are, with an interesting little book that happens to be in the public domain. And it is interesting. Here we have one side of the same debate occurring today, if perhaps using different terminology. It seems that those who will not read theory are doomed to repeat arguments. I should note that it has been my practice in these narrations to skip the footnotes, which are useful to the text reader who may want to read an aside or verify a source, but get in the way of fluid narration in this format. About midway through this book, I also decided to use English expressions for their foreign language equivalents, and to use the English titles for publications in place of their original language titles as they are in the original text. While this may make the narration less faithful, I hope it will make it more useful. Finally, this book is shot through with foreign names, which I have pronounced both incorrectly and inconsistently. If I said someone's name wrong, just keep listening. I'm sure I got everyone's name right at least once. If you enjoy the content in this channel, please consider liking and subscribing.